Since 2020, lots of things have changed. Some of them have been great, and some of them, many of them, have been not great at all. And there's one thing in particular, in the name of efficiency and cost savings, that I think is a huge irritation for most of the folks employed at, I'll steal Anthony's, the prestigious institution.
Yeah, right. So we're talking about the hallways on campus.
We're talking about every indoor space on campus. So if you happen to work at the university, leave a comment if this is your building as well. But our experience has been that our cleaning staff, some people call them janitors, some people say custodian. We say PPD.
Yeah.
Which I don't even, what does PPD stand for?
Physical plant division?
Yeah, that's still ambiguous to me. Mm-hmm. What's the physical plant?
They burn coal? I don't know. Yeah.
And also, apparently, they're supposed to do cleaning.
Yeah.
But they've switched the format around. And what used to be a system where you had a dedicated PPD person to a space that was designated as their space.
I miss you, Sam.
Sam, you were awesome.
He was the best.
Now, instead, we've got a rotation of people that we hardly see because it's not one-to-one in terms of building to staff. And as they rotate through, they've stopped emptying our waste baskets. They have stopped sweeping and dusting our cubicle spaces. Mm-hmm. They have minimally cleaned bathroom spaces.
Bathrooms are the worst. And in particular, there's a shower area in the basement of our the basement bathroom, and they just literally just stopped mopping there. Like they'll mop right up to it,
and then they don't go in,
and then they just don't even go in.
Yeah, so
and that's where people shower.
Well, I mean, showering in the basement of the office where you work is sort of a dubious thing anyway. But you know, if you want to work out over your lunch break or something, I get it.
I think too, there's some of the labs are you get in dealing with dirt and soil, and
you know what? That's the use case I hadn't considered. I'll give you that one. Anyway, the merit of the shower aside, what has no merit are the giant cockroaches that infest our building. Yeah, and I'm not talking about an occasional sighting. Mm-mm. You can go through any given room and on the floor and dead in the lighting fixtures and in any closets, you will find them. You can pop through the floor that we're on, pop through several of the rooms, and I bet you're over 24 that you'll find just looking around. And it's not even in inconvenient places like a lighting fixture where you'd have to take the lighting fixture out.
Right. They're just in the corner.
Or just hanging out on the floor. They don't even scatter. They're not scared because they're almost big enough you could put a saddle on one and ride it home. So
I do remember Tony once armed one of them with like a little toothpick sword or something.
That's awesome. Why have I not thought about using the living ones to scare the coworkers? But there are also a bunch of them that are just dead laying there in the middle of the floor for everybody to see. And I haven't been down to pick them up, so I'm not doing my part. Yeah. But I don't know, is this hubris to say that's not my job? I generally think that's a thing you don't say.
I do think we've definitely taken on more tasks like emptying our own trash. You know, if you have lunch in there and you know it's not going to be emptied for a week, go ahead and just take it out yourself. So I get it. I'm willing to do, you know, a thing.
Do your part.
To do my part. But you're right. I mean.
At what point do they just hand me a mop and say, hey, before you leave today, make sure the floor is clean? Like other duties as assigned doesn't, it's not a catch-all. There's limits even to that. I'm not going to plunge the toilet. Unless I have to, since you're my supervisor. I'm not telling you I won't. I'm saying I won't like it. But yeah, and the dead ones on the floor have gotten to the place where I've seen at least one memorial that a student or somebody set up for one. Right. They made a little tombstone out of paper. They wrote a beautiful eulogy about this cockroach's life and how it will be missed. And then it sat in the stairwell for like 2 more weeks before even this attention-getting display was cleaned up.
That's great.
I mean, what do you do with these things? These nasty things that are just everywhere.
I like your idea about printing off little tombstones and you put names on them.
So I'm going to maybe ask ChatGPT to come up with some sort of foldable origami tombstone so that it pops, because if I'm going to do something like that, it's got to be quality.
Yeah. I'm with you.
You had an idea too, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it could also help kind of clean the floors, but also provide some great entertainment.
What's that?
Roach curling.
Like the Canadian sport.
Right, just give it a little kick. Hey, maybe you can get in front of them with your little broom and kind of.
Now you're cleaning the floor.
Now you're cleaning the floor.
You come up with a scoring system.
Yep. You get them into the little bucket, it's like, hey, we got it. Problem solved.
You are listening to The Soapbox. I'm Paul.
And I'm Eric.
This all started out with a list. What's that all about?
So I've compiled a list over the years of things that just bother me, things that grind my gears. And I shared that list with you.
And I thought, you know what? That would make interesting conversation. Sometimes I'm going to want to agree with you, and it's just going to be something we talk about. Other times, though, I'm going to want to steel man the opposite position because I think that's just interesting conversation.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I'm always right, but Paul's just a really good debater.
Hey. You know who I'm named after?
Yes.
The Apostle Paul.
Oh, no, I thought it was...
If you ask my mom.
Okay, but if you ask your dad, the Beatles fan.
That's right. Then I'm named after Sir Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And I appreciate Paul McCartney. I've got some nostalgia for Beatles songs that I heard growing up. My dad is a huge Beatles fan, even to this day.
Has he met Paul McCartney?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
If he has, he'll correct me later via text message.
Maybe I misremember.
But Paul McCartney's later work, he did some good stuff in the wings that I can appreciate after Beatles. He did a whole solo project for a long time. He was just kind of putting out his own stuff. One of my favorite albums that he ever put out was an album called Flaming Pie. I don't know if you know that one. Mm-hmm. It's very McCartney. It's a little bit wacky, a little bit British sounding, but a lot of really just good hooks. Right? Mm-hmm. You hear it and you think that's catchy. Yeah. Not necessarily even stuff that you might hear and want to listen to, but that's kind of the point of today's episode.
Yeah,
it may not be something that you just want to listen to. Paul McCartney is a musical genius. Mm-hmm. He sat down with Dave Grohl and they were jamming, and Dave Grohl said, "Man, it just flows." This has been wonderful. And Paul McCartney, and I'm going to butcher the quote. You'll have to Google it later. But he said something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, with me, it's like that always."
Oh, wow.
It just he just has a musical brain.
Yeah.
And that probably translated into a lot of the groundbreaking sort of new stuff that he did with the Beatles, because I think the Beatles was an engine driven. It's a two-stroke engine driven both by Paul McCartney's genius and musical prowess, and I think John Lennon's creativity and musical prowess. And then I think they had two other guys that were really lucky to be a part of the band.
Ringo has famously had a very interesting drum mechanic, like. The way he set up his kit, and like David Grohl and a lot of other guys will break down kind of how he drums, and he leads with his left hand instead of his right hand on his fills. So it's there's another.
Do you think he's a genius or a hack?
Well, I mean, I guess it's possible he learned it wrong, or he set up his kit wrong, or the whole Jimi Hendrix playing an upside down restrung guitar kind of changes the thing. So maybe he did something like that, but either way, I think he created kind of a unique sound that drummers today really appreciate.
I will say this, as much shade as I'm going to throw in today's episode, I'm not a musician, and any of the people I'm talking about are wildly better in their art than I am. So this is an armchair opinion.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's the beauty of it. Everyone gets to have the opinion, and that's totally fine.
But I haven't even really gotten to the hot take yet. Because I'm stalling, because I'm hoping my dad will skip this episode. Sorry, Dad. I've disappointed you.
Doug, don't worry. I'll talk to him after the episode.
I'm going to get a strict reprimand. It's going to be, probably some formal paperwork. Yeah. The Beatles, I think, are exemplary of an idea that I hold about a lot of things that are not popular. And that is that the earliest iteration of something innovative is not necessarily the best iteration of that thing. And so to qualify that a little bit more, I'll say this. The Beatles were groundbreaking. They started off as sort of a pop boy band before boy bands were a thing. Mm-hmm. But they were in line with other products of their era, right? The Monkees and I don't know, all the ones that were big hits back then. But they sort of had the look, and they had the charm, and they had the poppy sound. And then all of a sudden, they turned a corner. They took LSD and they were like, let's make rock and roll.
Yeah.
And they did some funky stuff. And some of it, I think, was groundbreaking. And some of it was neurotic. I don't know if you remember Number 9. Number 9?
No, I don't.
It was just the 9th track on one of their LPs. And it just was John Lennon saying Number 9 over and over again.
Well, that's Radiohead, Tool. They'll do that stuff all the time.
So it was like drug-induced rock and roll art. He probably was like listening to Yoko. She's like, oh, good idea. But there it is, right? Like they experimented, they tried stuff. But at the end of the day, the things that I didn't hear as a child and I don't have nostalgia for, I don't really want to listen to. And even the stuff that I do have nostalgia towards, it's not on my playlist. It's not something that I actively seek out and want to consume, because I think what they started has had a chance to be iterated upon in music, culture, and society. And now what we've got are things that have new novel associations and layers and other influences that have taken the good bits of that and improved upon it. And it's just not the best version anymore.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about the nostalgia, and there's certainly something to be said about, kind of listening to where these things came from, because you can appreciate what we have today because they existed at the time they did. And I'll admit too, sorry, Doug, but I was never a huge Beatles fan. I liked most of the radio hits or whatever. Had a chance to play some of their songs that I really wasn't familiar with, and certainly didn't play for a wedding once, which I've played lots of events, lots of shows, lots of things, but playing someone's wedding was the most nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
it was incredible. I thought we had a lot of fun with it. I got to play upright bass and horse, and I got to play a handful of songs and some Beatles songs. It was kind of cool, but yeah.
And I think there are certain occasions where I'll throw that aside. You and I just said I wasn't a musician, and now I'm going to say I was in a band. So let me also qualify this. I was in a conference band where I got to be the karaoke singer because nobody else wanted to do it. And I do enjoy me some karaoke from time to time. And everybody was very gracious as actual musicians to work with me, because I don't know things about music theory or timing or anything. But I can read words, and I can kind of get close to the right notes.
It worked.
It worked. And so we did this 2 years.
Yeah. I think we're going to do it again in New Orleans.
Yeah, another year. We'll have to do something about the levee breaks.
Right.
Too soon.
I suppose we could do The Pot by Tool, because that was a little bit of how George Bush reacted to Katrina.
Okay. I'll have to listen to the lyrics. I don't know if I can sing a Tool song and also go to church that Sunday.
Your baby, eyeballs deep in muddy water. Anyway.
So yeah, I've been a part of the experience, but I've completely lost my train of thought.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Well, maybe a good pivot and bring us back when you find it too. But I've always thought, so you're talking about this is the original and things grow from it. I see this with cover songs a lot. Where generally speaking, I think it's kind of well known that the original version of the song is the best. You talk to the snobs for sure.
Yeah,
they're going to say the original's the best. But I have a hot take on it. I think the first version of the song you hear generally is the one you like better, and I've seen examples. I'm pretty sure I heard Radar Love by White Lion before. Is it Golden Earring? Maybe. Now I know. Do
you have to have a band that has a color in it in order to play that song?
Maybe. But White Lion had a really, really good cover of it, and I think it was one of the first CDs I ever bought.
I don't know if I've ever even heard of White Lion.
White Lion. They were. They had some hit. Little Fighter. That's some. It's very.
I'm gonna look them up for later. Give them a spin.
Yeah. They famously had a cover of Radar Love that I loved. But I think I heard it first, or at least paid attention to it more first. So I would listen to the radio and be like, "What's this weird version of Radar Love that's not as good?" It's like, "Oh, that's the original." Whoops. And then another one is Cats in the Cradle, Ugly Kid Joe.
Most people know the Harry Chapin version,
of course. Yeah, and
take a shot.
And now you need to crank on some White Lion and take a shot. But yeah, Ugly Kid Joe did a cover of that, on one of their, I think it was kind of their, maybe not the first album, but the breakaway album. And and I heard that. I think I heard the original version, but again, probably had heard it in an elevator or department store or something. But now that I heard the Ugly Kid Joe, and then I went back and heard the original, I think I heard it on The Simpsons, where Homer is on hold doing something awful where he's not paying attention to his kid or something. So and they play Cats in the Cradle, of course. So, but again, the same for me, and I think you have one too where you mentioned.
Yeah. So, and we were talking about this, and I'm glad we talked about this on the walk over because, excusing my previous inability to complete a thought, I wouldn't want to draw a blank on the band name too because people would start to be worried for my mental health. But Hard to Handle.
Oh yeah, yes.
And the version as a child in the 90s. Am I a child of the 90s if I'm born in 83? I think I'm a child of the 90s because I was a child in the 90s. Yeah. This might be a rabbit hole sort of thing. But when I was coming into my own tastes for music, that was on the radio.
Yeah, Black Crowes version.
And it was really funky. It had a lot of energy. Back then, music was either incredibly dark and depressing and you wanted to kill yourself, or it was super poppy and then the lyrics were really dark and depressing. Yeah. So that's the hallmark of the 90s. If it sounds poppy, it's probably actually about crystal meth. But this particular song was not. It was just poppy and funky and fresh, and it made you feel good when you listened to it, and you weren't really sure what he was saying some of the time, so you just kind of build in your own. Yep. And I sing along with it, and I thought it was clever because I knew the lyrics. And then I hear this old guy, Otis Redding, cover that song. I'm like, wait a minute.
He's not doing it right.
He's not doing it right because that's his song. It's an original Otis Redding song. And now I actually really appreciate the Otis Redding version because I'm older and I've had time to reckon with my initial reaction.
Yep.
I think what's at play here, psychologically speaking, is the primacy effect. Are you familiar with that term?
Yeah. Well done.
So the initial exposure is the thing that you're going to form the hook in your brain, the emotional attachment, and then everything else has got to hook onto that.
Yeah, and this could be even true if you basically tell someone a lie about a crime scene, and then later go back and say, "Oh, actually, it wasn't blue; it was red." The primacy effect, they're going to remember that first one, even though you told them it was a lie.
Yeah, and this plays out all the time in the news. A story will break, and then a follow-up story will have less impact, and people will still sort of have the emotional reaction to what they heard first. Yeah, and I think this is armchair expertise, right? Me with my bachelor's degree in psychology, but I think one of the things that's happening with that primacy effect is that once we get exposed to it, we've had to work and contend with it a little bit. And so we've had to tap into our system 2 brain, and we've expended extra energy, extra calories, extra cognition, extra processing power to be able to learn it, hear it, think about it, understand it. And there may be serotonin and dopamine triggers that are encouraging us to do it so it doesn't feel like work the first time. But then after we've heard it, now when we hear it again, it's on system 1 in our brain. It's easy to contend with. We like it. We can turn our brains off. We don't have to think about it. And then we hear the alternative version, and it doesn't align. Yeah. And now system 2 is involuntarily activated, maybe without the dopamine that reinforces that this is something that brings me pleasure and I like it. So now we have to work harder to like it. Yeah.
And I think to your point about being the 90s kid, some of these songs are played with different instruments. And I'm hoping we're going to have a whole episode on what instruments we give our kids in school to learn on, but that'll be our other one. But yeah, you're not familiar with the instrumentation. So you hear an updated version of a song and they're using electric guitars and bass and big drum kits, versus, acoustic guitar or, maybe even some strings in the background or something like that. Right. So.
Yeah. There's a modern example of this that came up on my Spotify. There's a song that I was listening to, and it's a Christian song by an artist named Brandon Lake, but he actually does the song with Jelly Roll.
Oh, okay.
And so it's got that soulful, like just Southern pain in it, and it's beautiful to listen to. It's called The Hard Fought Hallelujah. And I'm listening to this song, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And one day I put it on in the car with my kids, and I don't realize that it's the black gospel version of the same song. And so all of a sudden, all of the familiar instrumentation is gone. Brandon Lake is still on it, but I'm not sure if Jelly Roll is. I can't really tell the difference between their voices because I'm trash. But but the sound is different. It's no longer being marketed towards somebody that likes Southern rock or, you know, alternative rock or whatever Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll are. Now it's clearly for church.
Yeah.
It's got church choir, church feel, and it just, I'm like, yucky. What did you do? What did you do?
So there's a really famous version of this for the Leonard Cohen song "Hallelujah."
Oh, yes, right? I love that song.
I absolutely love that song, and I am mortified by the Christmas adaptation versions of it. Have you heard those?
I haven't, but you are now touching on something that offends me anyway, and that is Christmas music.
Yeah.
Full stop.
So you listen to the Leonard Cohen song, and clearly it's a dark song. I mean, the minor key and all of it, just it's dark and it's
brooding and it's dealing with some very serious feelings.
Yeah. Well, somebody just hooked on to the word hallelujah and turned it into a very Christian, Christmassy. I think they maybe even moved it into a major key.
Oh yeah.
And it just lightened up the song, and now it's like you've got, you know, gospel singing it. You've got it's famously like covered in, you know, for big Christmas things, and it's just I'm listening to it. I'm like, not only is this worse than the original, but you like you're going the wrong direction.
You missed the point.
Yeah.
And I have a rabbit trail I'll come back to on missing the point, but
yeah. Well, I have a kind of an opposite version of that is, and this ties us back to the Beatles again, is Imagine. John Lennon, great.
Yes.
Great song.
And actually on that song, because of my previously stated hot take on the Beatles, I think you probably already know my favorite version of that song
is
A Perfect Circle.
Yeah. And that's where I was going to go with it. Two is now they did the opposite. It was in a major key, right?
Yeah.
And John Lennon's version, and it was kind of it
was
happier,
hopeful and happy.
And then Maynard and A Perfect Circle just went dark and made it minor, and man, does it work.
Yeah.
It is.
And for me, growing up, you know, in a kind of a Christian culture and then hearing that, actually what was interesting is the John Lennon version is sort of the anti-religious, sort of the secular humanist anthem. Yeah. And I feel what Maynard accidentally almost did was sort of expose that all these things aren't turning out so good.
Oh, in kind of the hindsight of after it was written, maybe?
Yeah, like we pushed religion out, and what have we got to show for it? Not utopia is not here.
Yeah,
we've just got more government and other more radical ideas kind of filling the gaps.
Yeah, I dare say Maynard would probably have a different take on it, but
Maynard, if you want to correct me in the comment section, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I don't think anyone used John Lennon's song as a roadmap to how to pave the world. But yeah, I mean, fair point. I do think it's bizarre how many people I know that love the song Imagine, but are, you know, like you, Christian, and I'm like, I mean, it opens up.
This is an anthem against your core beliefs.
Yeah. But that's the thing about music, man. There is something you can write a song. Even have lyrics. I mean, I think A Perfect Circle has another really good song, Judith, that has lyrics in it that, I mean, I'm surprised they play it on the radio.
Super inflammatory. Absolutely, yeah. Well, and that's his response to his mom's faith, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I take from that, and I've actually probably in the last 3 or 4 months, I've been listening a little bit more to Christian music, a little bit less to secular music, just kind of working on myself a little bit, but one of the things I think that I'm still using as rationalization for listening to my hedonist secular music, besides the fact that it's musically superior. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Is also just that art is subjective, and you can take from it what you want. And if you're listening to that to steal their experiences and make them your own, you're probably not doing it right. If you're instead listening to it to understand somebody else's perspective, or as a catharsis or a means of, kind of like mapping upon your own experience and your own interpretation, you may be doing it more correctly. And then sometimes you can't. I mean,
separate the art from the artist again. I mean, I think, whenever there is a Christian rock band that's great, throw them my way. That I do think.
I almost said Creed, but I couldn't do it with a straight face.
I do think Sprung Monkey, oddly enough, for a name, they had a famous video in Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show, I think.
Okay.
And they were San Diego band, kind of punk, progressive punk, really, really great band. I think some of their members maybe came from POD.
Interesting.
And there was kind of like...
Is POD a Christian band?
I think they were. But certainly when they moved to Sprung Monkey, I mean, the name Sprung Monkey, and they have some language in their Sprung Monkey songs, I think they kind of upset the Christian...
Yeah, I remember like a brief minute, there was a radio station called Air One, and their original format was like alternative rock, but Christian. Mm-hmm. And now since then they've become worship, which is okay if you like that. But it's like, it feels like a bait and switch. Like I liked the station because it used to play stuff I liked, and now it plays stuff that, we hear on Sunday mornings, and that's okay, but that's just not my go-to, my jam. But POD was on Air One, and then all of a sudden they weren't.
Yeah, I think a lot of those Christian bands, and I gotta imagine it's because of the rock and roll lifestyle. They either like changed their views, or
they never really held the views.
Or they never really held them, and
This is since I'm throwing all my musical hot takes out here. I think a lot of Christian artists are just secular artists that weren't good enough to make it, and so they found a demographic that was more forgiving.
Yeah. Did you get kind of a pass to?
To
play Ichthus? Is that the thing?
I think it wasn't, or it was, then it wasn't, and I think it's back.
It's back, yeah. It's a pretty big event in Wilmore, right?
Yeah, I haven't been in a number of years, so I'm not hip on what they're doing with the Ichthus these days. But I think Katy Perry actually went the other direction. She started out marketing herself as a Christian artist, but she was so good, she realized she could shed that identity. Yeah. And then she, went with I Kissed a Girl, and now she, apparently has been to space. So
there is I had a couple others that just, I think worth,
are they still within the domain of music? Because I have two more here.
Yeah, no, the covers.
Okay.
So, Come Together. A Beatles song. Right?
Okay, yeah.
And then famously covered by Aerosmith.
You know what? Now that you say that, I only heard I heard the Aerosmith version first.
I think I did too. Or again, I want to preface
it got more radio play.
I think depending on your age and your exposure, Come Together I heard as, I think the Aerosmith version. Again, I say heard it first. I may have heard the Beatles song before that, but didn't pay attention to it, didn't recognize it. And then I think one day it just like occurred to me, like, wait a second, this is a cover. And then I think even that, I think I even conflated the two versions at some point.
Because they were probably pretty close musically speaking.
Well, and I would hear the Aerosmith song, and Steven Tyler does a really good job of, his voice can change drastically between songs.
Yeah.
And like, I think for a while there, I just forgot it was Aerosmith and thought it was the Beatles.
That's fair. I mean, if you weren't like really invested in one band or the other, if it was just something you were hearing in a mishmash of other songs.
Yeah. And I think maybe I got caught up in, when I was playing drums more, I got caught up in watching some of those drum videos of showing how Ringo played that riff again with the leading left hand. And then that's when I think it clicked, like, oh, I've been listening to Aerosmith. And so there's the Beatles. And then the last one I'll give you, and it'll upset hardcore Led Zeppelin fans, but I heard No Quarter from Tool first.
Okay.
And then went back and listened to the Led Zeppelin version, and
I've heard the Zeppelin version. I don't know if I've heard the Tool version.
Yeah, it's on that Salival album, where they actually do a Peaches cover, which was Justin Chancellor's old band, and they do No Quarter, and they have the best, everyone knows I'm a Tool fan here, the best updated version of their song Push It. There's a key change they throw in there that if you've never heard that version, Push It's a great song. It's on Anima, but they add this key change in there, and it's chef's
take it to the next level.
It really, it like they realize we screwed up. We wrote this song and we forgot to put anyway. So those are my honorable mentions.
Yeah. So we're as we're talking about cover songs, there's another thing that happens sometimes in my household, and maybe this has happened for you too. Do you ever use the automated home assistant with the lady's name?
Yes. Oh yeah. We call her, what's her name?
What's her name? We call her the robot.
All right.
So when we use the robot, sometimes the kids like to use the robot to play a song.
Yeah,
because we don't let them use computers or tablets or anything like that. And they'll request a song, and then we'll just get some version by some artist we've never heard of.
Yeah.
Even though like we're clearly asking for the thing that's on the radio that everybody knows and loves, we'll still get some crap version that maybe they don't have to pay as big of a royalty on.
Yep. I was in the car, and in the car I have Amazon Music, which is linked to what's her name too, and it was doing a shuffle of songs, and naturally it knows I like Tool. It played a 46 and 2. That was that cover. This was maybe 10 years ago, a famous cover of like a youth a band, kind of like we were talking about.
Like Kids Bop version?
It was a school for rock band kind of a thing, like a School of Rock type of thing, right? And it was a bunch of kids playing 46 and 2, and it was, they had the video for it. It was a really good cover. A pretty young, a young person singing it. And it came up on Amazon Music in my shuffle, which I think is great. I mean, it fits,
it's cool, but at the same time, it's sort of like, hey, do you want to get a Coke? And then you show up with a Faygo, like
RC Cola.
This is not what was promised.
You're right, though. It may be a royalties thing, or the algorithm is just like hallucinating.
It could be one of each, but the skeptic in me says that Amazon has to pay them, if they have to pay Tool a nickel every time, but they have to pay the Kids Bop a penny, they're going to just take a shot. Maybe that'll consume 3 minutes of your time.
Maybe. And I think these algorithms have to have a degree of randomness to explore, right? I mean, you need it.
Otherwise you're locked into the same 20 songs every time. The other one, and this has only really presented itself maybe one or two times, and only one that I can think of the name, but Depeche Mode had an album called Exciter, and there was and I forget the name of the song on the album, but it was on the radio, and I was like, this is good. I like this song. I wouldn't have called myself a Depeche Mode fan, but this was in the era of you got to buy the whole album.
Depeche Mode is a sweet band. Do you know what that's from?
Do not.
I think that's another Simpsons reference.
I gotta brush up on my Simpsons. Yeah. I've only got 30 years worth of episodes to catch up on. But on the radio, they've got this very great version of the song, and then you buy the album, and it's a different version. You can't get the radio version. At least you couldn't then. I'm sure you can stream it now. So I spent $12 at Best Buy thinking I was going to get to hear this song that I enjoyed on the radio, and it's some slower, longer version with like a big bridge in the middle that they don't play on the radio. It was just
interesting.
So if there was any chance I was ever going to be a Depeche Mode fan, they crapped the bed on that one, and I just lost all love for them. I don't know where that album even is anymore. Don't care. So alternative versions released by the same artist.
Yeah, that's a cover of themselves. Well, again, like the Push It was a success. Otherwise, I wonder if I could think of any other kind of retake. Now, of course, A Perfect Circle famously has done whole albums of retakes and remixes on their songs.
Sure.
Not a whole lot of them landed for me.
Linkin Park did that. I think it was Reanimation.
There was.
And actually, they're doing that now with a new singer.
With a new singer, that's right. There was a fanboy over here again. There was a. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, there was a Pussifer is a band that Tool, Maynard's also in, and he had Justin Chancellor, his bass player from Tool, come in and do a retake on one of their songs, and that was pretty good.
Through the magic of video editing, we forgot an important point, and we're going to just drop it right in where it makes sense.
That's perfect, because we've got the tools.
Tool.
What is it? God, I do.
You just can't get away from this band, dude.
I was going to more Ghostbusters. What was it? We got the tools. We got the training. Anyway.
I've seen Ghostbusters like 3 or 4 times. Don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, you brought one up on our walk that I thought was the perfect example of the cover. All of the rules of covers.
Everything we said goes out the window with this one.
This one is, and maybe people are thinking of it. I know Horse would have been mad at us if we didn't mention this one.
Yes.
But Trent Reznor, 9 Inch Nails, wrote a song called "Hurt" in the '90s.
And again, we're talking like minor, chords, and it's very dystopian sounding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It very like electronic and
slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Cash in his 90s.
He was old. I don't know what age he was, but he was old.
He
kind of took it and made it his own musical eulogy.
He absolutely did. He took out the swear words, right?
I think he made it better.
Yeah,
because Trent Reznor's "Crown of Something,"
yes,
didn't work as well as "Crown of Thorns."
Yes, no.
So I think it was an improvement. Certainly, he wasn't worried about his YouTube monetization like we are.
and famously, Trent Reznor has actually said, like, Johnny Cash took it. That is his song now.
Yeah,
he's like, I no longer. Oh yeah.
So I was trying to recall which version I heard first. It had to have been 9 Inch Nails because they were on my playlist in high school, and that would have been pre Johnny Cash's cover.
Yeah,
I've seen him live twice, but Johnny Cash made "Hurt," and Trent Reznor just produced it. That's
that really is that. Yeah, I don't think you can call "Hurt" a cover.
It's an evolution.
It's an evolution. It's a cool song.
So bringing this all the way back here to what we do.
Yeah.
First of all, take a shot.
Yep.
Second of all, we're now in the 40s on our episode count.
Yeah.
At some point, being men of a certain age here, we are going to forget that we've recorded on the topic, and we're going to do it again. So if we do that in the comments, please let us know. Did you like the original? Or did you prefer the cover? We've got a brand new website. What is that site?
That is SoapBoxLex.com.
So you can check us out on the web. You can also check us out on your favorite streaming platforms, including...
we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we're on Amazon. And of course...
if you want to check us out and actually see what you're listening to, we do have video as well on YouTube. And I don't know if you knew this, but Spotify does video too.